I have the pleasure of introducing our closing keynote presenter of the day. And I don't mind telling you, you are in for a treat. Okay, so Joni Stuker, I'm not kidding, she is an automotive legend. She is the president and founder of Owner Connect. She's been in the auto industry consultant for 30 years, holy moly. She started her company with $0 and nothing much more than a whole lot of know-how and passion. And now she's grown her business to over $4 million. She has now diversified to consult with NASCAR, amusement parks, and 5-star resorts. Some fun facts about my friend Joni Stuker. She has been to Australia 12 times. In college, she worked at the city newspaper where she took death notices. Excuse me, obits. Okay, and then once, she wasn't allowed in Canada. Like, they took her passport and brought her to the gate by the Canadian Mounties. There is definitely a story there. I cannot wait to hear it. But for right now, by the way, who likes Mexican food? Me too. Well, guess what? Joni is going to tell us all to eat the burrito. I can get behind this. I don't know what that means, but I am down for anything that tells me to eat Mexican food, so please welcome founding WIA board member, the one and only Joni Stuker.
Hi, guys. Oh, thank you so much. Yay. So we'll go that way to the right. Oh, this is your day. This is your day. This is the time, the one time right now that you really have to face the obstacles. Stop talking about them. I mean, face the obstacles. I want you to walk out of here and stop dreaming about tomorrow and all of our great plans for tomorrow. We've all had those, right? Today sucked, tomorrow will be better. What I want you to do is I want you to value every minute that you have, because each minute, every hour is so fleeting at certain times in our life. I know it's a crazy title. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. Way beyond the fact that I know when they were describing me, I sounded so old, didn't I? Tanya, you're laughing. I'm like, I need help to the stage. Okay, so... And I don't want to make anything light. I love the fact that there are mentors and there's so much guidance. I want you to think back 33 years ago in the auto industry. I mean, I've never had a mentor. I have worked with really almost always all men. I've been thrown out of more boardrooms than any place I can ever tell you. Because I believe in life you should go out swinging. I really do. Joni DeVere and I are very different. Joni's a plotter. She thinks through things. I just dive in. Beyond myself, I was actually, raised in the Midwest, family of all girls. I'm a middle child, which raise your hand if you're a middle child. All right, whoo, there we are, that's right. Always seeking attention, correct? I used to actually go to grade school. I remember this, I would put Band-Aids on my legs without any cuts. I was just looking for some kind of attention. The bad thing about that plan is that I never thought it through, so what happened? A couple days later, I go in without the Band-Aids. They're like, what happened to your cuts? I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. That didn't go well. I went to Catholic schools, tough Irish nuns down in Missouri. My name is spelled Joni. I go into the school, I'm brand new. My mother bought my sweater at a discount store, so it wasn't the right color green. It was supposed to be forest green, mine was pea green. That's bad. So the worst thing is the Irish mean nuns had me stand up in front of the classroom, and she said, we have a new student here, and her name is Johnny. And I raised my hand and said, no, it's actually Joni. And she said, well, actually, it is spelled as if it would be what? It'd be Johnny. So they said, the rest of your time here, we're going to call you Johnny. And all the kids just laughed at me. So I didn't appreciate that much. Underneath my breath, I called her the B word, trust me. Every time I went to confession, which they made me go to confession every week, I always confessed that I actually hated that nun. Every fiber. So now I want you to think about it. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but raise your hand if you've been married more than once. Okay, all right, a few of us. Now, why is it, under the traditional sense, We women take on the man's name. And again, this is just traditional. We take over the man's name, correct? So what is my name? If we really get down to it, statistically speaking, my name, historical data, is Joni Brown Bongard Stuker Davis. All right. So that rolls me into the fact that I think we should start leasing our mates. All right? No more marriage. Let's just lease our mates. Therefore, you know what? I'm going to get a 3-year lease plan with you. I can walk away. I believe in Las Vegas we could get that done. I truly do. So I feel like it's just not fair. Men walk around going, hi, my name is Bob Smith, always has been, no mistakes. I go, hi, I am so many names. But you know what? It just takes sometimes what? We have to kiss a lot of frogs to find that prince. And I finally did. But it took a lot of time. So that's okay. All right, so beyond all of that, I sold cars, which is a long time ago. No training, please. The sales manager said, Joni, go out and tell yourself what you like about the cars. So I walked out on the dealership lot and I said, well, these are pretty cool cars. And I used to say to customers, I think I can get you a pretty good deal on that car. All right? Pretty was my code word. But I'm extremely competitive. So I fought my way through everything, trust me. I didn't care about being number one for money. I just wanted the plaque. And I wanted to shove it in that sales guy's face, right? It's really how I've been. I know you sounded angry. I just always try to get even, right? So after that exciting career in auto sales, I moved into consulting. I have to describe to you one of the first times I walked into a dealership showroom. I introduced myself. I'm in my 20s, right? And I don't mean my late 20s. I walk in, and I'm all happy. My little briefcase, probably from Target if it was around then. Anyway, I shake his hand, and I introduce myself that I was there representing this automotive consulting firm. And he looked at me and he goes, come with me. He's agitated deeply, right? So he's like pulling me into his office. I'm walking by and I'm going, okay, sir. We go into his office. He takes the top drawer out, spills all the contents on top of his desk. And he said, if I could sell one car to each one of you, son of a you-know-what's trying to sell me something, I'd make a lot of money. So I stood there and thought, woo, how do you respond to that one, right? So here's what I did. This totally shows my personality. So here's what I did. I took my arm, I pulled all the cards, slid them onto the floor, took my card out and put it in the middle of the desk. And I said, now you met the person that can help you, right? Woo! What do you think he did? He threw me out. But here you go, guys, in life. I just want you to understand, please, don't blame, don't point fingers, don't say, I wish I could and I could. Are you kidding me? I walked out of there, my head was so high, I thought, man, I'm good. Man, I don't care, right? I am really good. Okay, I'm broke, but I'm really good. So we move forward. This is me. Oh, God, I hate my hair. So, oh, awful, stop it. I mean, we'll get into the whole reason why I hate my hair, but I used to really have nice hair. Anyway, so this is me as we move forward in our life. I want you guys to own this. This is my third time being here. I am a founding member. I missed about 1.5 years of life last year plus. But there's so much that you can do. There truly is. I hear so much about fear of rejection. Guys, think about, what is the worst thing that happens? What is the worst thing? You put yourself out there and what happens? You get a no. Who cares? Who in here's in sales? I have it my whole life. Are we afraid of the word no? No. In fact, don't we thrive on it? I was told, hey, the more no's gets to a yes. When I sold cars, I used to write the word no 6 times on a piece of paper. I tell the customer to read it out loud. They go, no, 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 no. I go, now I got that out of the way. Let's go to the yes. See, but you have to remember something. Sometimes we take ourselves far too seriously, all right? I don't want you to get pissed. I want you to get even. Are you kidding? I was working in this dealership, and you guys, again, I'm out there and I'm fighting my way through. And I'm at a dealership and I'm in there with the sales management team, we'll call him that. And the dealer's up there and he is awful. I didn't know this, but he's awful. He's bashing most humans, women, you name it, minorities, left, right. I just stood there with my mouth open. I picked up my stuff while he's ranting about life. I put it in my little bag. I got up. He goes, where are you going? And I said, I can't work for you. You, sir, are an ass. And again, I walked on going, well, there was that. I stand up for my laurels and broke again. Here's a dealer, which he sold his stores, but he was sitting down in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he was an ego to the max. Anyway, he hired me to come down. He said, I want you to observe my management team, Joni. I want you to tell me what you think is wrong with them. I think, he said, quote, we have a few hiccups in the organization. So I flew down. In about 3 minutes, I knew exactly where the hiccups were. I had to wait till the end of the day. We were in his big masculine wooded boardroom, right? He had everybody together. He stood at the front and he said, I had Joni in here. She's going to tell us what's wrong with our store. I stood up and all the managers are sitting around. You know, they're all shaking in their boots like at the Wizard of Oz. And I looked at everybody, I go, I hiccuped across the whole room. I personally thought it was hilarious. He, not so much. Once again, guess what? Would you please exit the building on the right? So, don't worry. Guys, don't worry. Do you sit in your position because you don't have a plan or you don't know how to create a plan? Are you worried because if you step up, you're going to alienate certain people? Come on, you know that person that gets mad at you because what? What are you trying to do? Make us look bad because you're over here? I've trained, I have worked. My gosh, it's been a tough life. I have trained in stores. I remember this guy. I pointed out, my gosh, everything I said in my workshop. He kept going, nah, that'll never work. That'll never work. I finally looked at him, I said, Jim, just because you've eked out a mediocre life for yourself, don't bring down the rest of us, okay? We're trying to find our way out of things. See, but guess what? You're laughing because here's my always same word of advice. Never lose your sense of humor and what? Your self-respect. We human beings are pretty darn funny, aren't we? I sit in these meetings, I sit back, I go, oh my gosh, who are we? Do what you do from your heart. Don't gripe, don't complain, don't think I should have it. Why do the men get this or that? Please know that, yes, I actually started out in this industry. I was kind of a cute blonde. Now I don't know what happened. But when you are sometimes a female, we are challenged more strongly, absolutely. By being that person, I got in the door more easily many times than men. But I got challenged more strongly, absolutely. Just make sure you have some depth around you. If you don't, guys, I'm telling you, in this world today, you can't fake it till you make it. You have to have that depth around you. So there's a couple little things that I wanted to say before we move into the main target here. I want to ask you guys, who in here, are we afraid of failing? Say yes or no. Are we afraid of failing? Let's try the one I want to hear. Are we afraid of failing? No. Okay, who said yes, you're over here? Why are we afraid of failing? Who cares? We just said it, who cares? You have to get more comfortable to look in the mirror and say, so what if I screwed up? At least I did what? I made an attempt. At least I moved forward in some manner. At least I stood up to that person and said, you know what, you're not right, and I am so right, and I'm out of here. There's a dealer, he's the largest Ford dealer, I will not name his name, in the United States. Anybody will know him.
He has brown hair.
He has pictures of himself at the entryway to his huge office with him with the Dalai Lama, right? So I was in his meeting, he asked me to go to his manager's meeting. And he only hired men in leadership roles. So I sat in the meeting, and all the men are like, what is she doing here, right? So I was sitting there going, this is going to be awesome. In came this gentleman who shall remain nameless. He walked in, and they were like, so what's up with Joni being here? And he said, she's the only woman I met in my life that will tell me the truth. Be that person, all right? Be that person. So what if we have to take a bus home because we don't have enough money for airfare? That's okay. We'll find our way. Are you guys afraid of being your very best? No. Let's say that again. Are we afraid of being our very best? No. Are you guys going to go back to the dealership and do the same darn thing you did before you got here? No. And if you don't work in a dealership, whatever you do, don't go back and do the same thing. It doesn't make any sense to me. Life is too short. It's far too precious. It truly is. So let's talk a little bit about Oh my God, this is so funny. Anybody that knows me, they always go bum, 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 March 7th, 2017. So does anybody remember where they were last year, March 7th? Probably not. Let me tell you where I was. I went to work for a client in Coolidge, Arizona. Who's ever been to Coolidge, Arizona? You have not.
I live in Arizona.
Okay. Coolidge, Arizona has 3 stoplights, all right, 3 stoplights. My client and I had been working together for 7 years. Okay, he's a slow learner. But I had stopped at the liquor store to pick up a couple bottles of wine because he and his wife and I always sit outside and get very intelligent. So I was sitting on the little 2-lane highway, and quite frankly, I remember thinking in my heart, man, my life is going really good right now, okay? I got it going on. Things are great. And all of a sudden, I got hit. 65 miles an hour by a person, 26 years old, uninsured, putting on her makeup, who had her, mirrored on. She didn't see me. She smashed into me. I did remember that hit. The next thing was even worse. My seat broke by the impact. My seat belt harness broke. The worst, though, was her impact pushed me into what? Oncoming traffic. So I got hit again, head on, 60 miles an hour. So what happened then is a word I actually learned, which Jody would look up in the dictionary for me. The next thing that happened is that second car, when it hit me, it turned my seatbelt and it eviscerated me. I do remember when that second car hit, because this is my personality. As soon as that second car hit, you know what I screamed out loud? Oh, come on! Who gets hit by 2 cars? I get, what in the world? So eviscerated, if you don't know, means it actually carved out my entire stomach. Gone. Internal organs here. Can't you see the little poor guy, the medic, going, I got the gallbladder. Okay, we're over here. So they flew in the chopper. Jaws of death took me out. 2 minutes to live or die. Terrible. I stand before you and I have to tell you, here's my pictures. Awful. It's so grotesque to do this. I was looking for the okay. Do you know that a year ago I was still in the hospital? They didn't know if I would be able to talk, which is really crazy. When I first started coming to after about a month and a half in the hospital, I didn't know that I couldn't talk. So I would say things, and everyone was looking at me like I'm nuts. And I'd be like, I didn't know. They recorded me. I sound like this. And they're all going, what did she say? I tried to bribe the emergency room nurse. I thought I said $500,000, but I think it's $1 million for 1 Diet Coke. I was like, I'll give you my life. Do you know how hungry I was? I was raised Catholic, as I told you. I actually asked, the only food they would give me in 2 months was I could have communion wafers. I would ask to see the priest or chaplain twice a day because that was the only food they'd let me have. They're like, she needs to see the chaplain again. I'm like, that's my brain. I'm like, how can I work? I got to find a way to work around this. No Diet Coke, no food. I can get a wafer. Okay, good. Scary stuff. A couple months into the hospital, you know what I said to I said to the nurse, finally got my voice back. I still can't sing, and I had a rock star voice, right, Caitlin? Poor Caitlin. She's like, no, you really didn't, Joan. What's worse? So I finally said to the nurse, I said, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I'm tired of this whole thing. And she goes, well, how are you going to get out of here? I said, well, I'm going to walk. She goes, you can't. I go, get out of town. I didn't know my legs didn't work. Everybody remember the first the first Jurassic Park. Everybody remember that? We all saw it, didn't we? Remember in the beginning scene when they were going to feed that dinosaur? They took that poor cow calf, remember? And he's like, and he's in that little harness, and then they dropped him. That's how they got me to go to the bathroom. They would harness me up like a cow over, drop me in. Awful. Very, very inspiring. So I had to learn how to walk and talk. We all saw Forrest Gump, right? Remember when he got chased and he had the braces on his legs? And all of a sudden they fell off and he got running faster. Go, run, Forrest, run. So I had my left leg in a brace forever. I finally got that off. I got into the PT area and I was like ready to rock and run. As soon as I stood up, I fell right down and I felt kind of like Humpty Dumpty. And the whole place just broke out laughing. I was like, dang, nothing works anymore. You want to talk about not losing your sense of humor? This is the time, guys. Oh, this is awful. So I had 34 surgeries. I used to have beautiful long hair. It doesn't really matter, does it? Nothing matters. What? in my heart of hearts, you only get one life, guys, okay? This is your chance. I mean, I have had an awful ride, let me tell you. It's been a good one. But this is your chance. And I'm telling you, I want you to think, when you go back tonight, after you had dinner, whatever you're doing, just take a piece of paper out, grab your tablet, commit to one thing to improve upon. One thing I don't care if it's your work environment, whatever you do, but something that will make you feel better. Something that will make you get stronger. So why is it a burrito? I love Mexican food. I truly do. It's my favorite. I could eat it all the time. So what happened is this. My entire life, I have never been a thin woman, ever. I mean, okay, after 2 months of starvation, yes, that was thin, but that would never last, trust me. So when you go into, say, a Mexican restaurant and you look at the menu, there's like a good side, bad side. In my head, I always play these things out. So I'm looking at the menu, and the good side person is going, don't eat the guac and don't have that cheese, and stay away from the sour cream. Now the bad side of me is going, you know what, go for it, girl. And I always said to myself, what if I died? What if I didn't eat what I wanted and I died? I'd be really pissed off, wouldn't you? So here's what happened. My doc, the first person, Dr. Thiessen, who saved my life, he said to me, which, by the way, the last time I saw him, he kept saying, I can't believe you don't have brain damage. I go, maybe I do. I don't know. What does it look like, Doc? Here's what he told me. He said, if I would have been a thin woman, when that seatbelt second car hit me, boom, he said I would have been severed in half if I was thin like you. But because I had girth, which I love how he called it girth. What is that, fat? I guess it's poundage. I don't know. We'll call it girth. I like it. So because I had girth, guess what? I lived. So the moral of the story is what? Eat the burrito. It could save your life.